Well, I'm about to get married to the love of my life, and my family is totally against it. They said that I'm choosing her over them. And the reason that they're saying that, here you go, is because my brother is in prison for another 6 years. They want me to wait for him to get out of prison to marry my love. All because they think that he needs to be a part of it when he's in prison for something so devastating. Well, we'll get into that, but you need to know I'm not waiting, and I don't care if it means I'll never talk to my family again. I'm not waiting. I never thought I'd be writing this. Hell, I never thought I'd be the kind of person who eloped without telling anyone, but here we are. My wife Julie and I got married at the courthouse 3 weeks ago. Just us, no family, no friends. We didn't even tell anyone until after the papers were signed, and honestly, despite everything that's happened since, I do not regret it. For context, I need to explain my family, specifically my older brother Dustin. 4 years ago, Dustin and his wife Angela took their toddler son, my nephew, on a private boating trip. Beautiful day, calm water. They did not put a life jacket on him. I don't know all the details, but I wasn't there. But somehow he went overboard, and by the time they got him out, it was too late. In New Zealand, we have strict maritime safety laws. Both Dustin and Angela were convicted of negligent manslaughter. They are both serving time. Dustin's earliest possible release is 2030, but it could be longer. The thing is, Dustin was always the golden kid. First to get married, first to have kids, first to buy a house, and my parents, Terry and Jasmine, have never recovered from what happened. They're turning their grief into this little shrine to Dustin. Every conversation circles back to him. Every family decision has to consider what Dustin would want. Every milestone in my life gets measured against his absence. Julie and I got engaged last year. Small celebration, nothing fancy. We're not big party people anyways. But when we started talking about wedding dates, that's when things got weird. My mother pulls me aside at a family dinner. Said we should wait until Dustin could be there. I thought she meant wait a few months to see if he could get a day release or something. But no, she meant wait until he was completely out. It's 6 years away. Minimum. I tried to be understanding. I did, really. Losing my nephew broke something in all of us, but Julie helped me see what was really happening. My family wasn't just grieving, they were demanding that everyone else's life stops because Dustin's life stopped too. The requests got more extreme. My younger sibling, Emily, said that we should not even have an engagement party because it would be like celebrating while Dustin suffers, and my dad suggested we should not post any wedding planning stuff online because it might, quote, hurt Dustin if he sees it. My mom cried actual tears when Julie mentioned looking at honeymoon destinations, saying we were rubbing our freedom in Dustin's face. Come on. Julie watched me twist myself into knots trying to accommodate everyone. She would hold me while I would vent about another guilt trip phone call, another passive-aggressive comment about how a family comes first. She never pushed, never gave ultimatums. She just asked questions that made me think. Do you think Justin would actually want you to wait 6 years? If the situation was reversed, would they wait for you? When does your life get to matter? The last one hit different. See, the breaking point came during a video call with my parents. Wedding talk came up again. My mother started her usual speech about respect and solidarity and what kind of brother I was being, but then she said something new. Maybe this is God's way of telling you Julie isn't the right one. The right person would understand why family needs to come first. Well, obviously, I just hung up. Just ended the call mid-sentence, and Julie found me in our bedroom 20 minutes later, still staring at my phone. That night, we made a decision. We'd get married at the courthouse. No drama, no guilt, no waiting for permission. That would never come, and we just did it. Friday morning. We wore nice clothes, but nothing wedding-like, and the whole thing took 30 minutes. The courthouse clerk and a security guard were our witness. When we kissed after being pronounced married, Julie whispered, "We did it." And for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. We went for lunch at our favorite cafe afterward, sitting there with our secret, knowing that we just changed everything. I felt this weird mix of relief and dread, because I knew what was coming. I knew my family would lose their mind. But Julie reached across the table, took my hand and said, "Whatever happens, we face it together now as a family." our family. We didn't tell anyone for 2 days. We just wanted to be married without the noise, to let it sink in that we'd actually did it, that we'd chosen each other over everything else. When we finally started making the calls, Julie's family was amazing. Her sister Meg literally screamed with joy, and her parents said that they were proud of us for doing what felt right. They get it. They understood that sometimes you have to save yourself from other people's expectations. My family was exactly what I expected, though. I'm going to break this into updates, because honestly, typing it all out once is too much. But I needed to get the first part out. I needed to explain why we did what we did, because despite what my family thinks, it was not about rebellion or selfishness or choosing Julie over blood. It was about choosing to live my life. What's up, everybody? Oh man, I have the update. Posted exactly 2 days after the original post, and let me tell you, the family is not happy. Here it is, and guys, if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is subscribe. Update number 1. Well, thank you to everybody who commented on my original post. Your support means more than you know, and I've read every comment, even if I haven't responded. It helps to know I'm not crazy. Okay, so the fallout. After telling Julie's family, we just knew we had to tell mine. I called my parents first, put it on speaker so Julie could be there with me, and the silence after I said, "Ma, we got married on Friday." It lasted maybe 10 seconds. It felt like 10 years. My mom starts to cry. Not happy tears. The kind of crying that means, it's meant to make you feel guilty. The kind she's perfected over the last 4 years. My father's voice was ice cold. He asked how we could do this to them. How we could spit on Dustin's suffering like this, and he actually used those words. Spit on his suffering, like my brother is some kind of martyr instead of a man in prison because his kid passed away on his watch. I'm sorry, that sounded harsh. I do love my brother. I've always loved him, but I'm so tired of pretending he's a victim of circumstance instead of a consequence. The calls, they get worse from here. Emily sent me a series of texts that started with, "I can't believe you," and ended with calling Julie a manipulative opportunist who's been waiting to isolate you from your real family. Yeah, okay, real family. As if Julie hasn't been there for every single crisis, every late-night spiral, every moment of doubt for the past 3 years. As if she hasn't held me through grief and guilt and anger that my real family pretends doesn't exist because it's not about Dustin. Well, my mother. She called me back last night and left a voicemail that I've listened to probably 20 times, at least by now. She said that I've stolen joy from the family and that I would make a mockery of marriage by sneaking around like a criminal. And that's when Dustin finds out it might set back his mental health and recovery. Ugh. Everything is about Dustin. Even my wedding is about Dustin. Julie found me sitting in our bathroom floor at 2 in the morning, playing that voicemail again for the 58th time. She took my phone, deleted it, and sat with me. She didn't even say anything. Just sat there while I finally let myself feel angry, because I am angry. I'm furious at Dustin for being careless with his son's life, at my parents for turning our family into a grief cult, at Emily for being their flying monkey, and at myself for taking this long to see it. So, the next morning, I did something I should have done years ago. I wrote an email to all of them. Julie helped me edit it, made sure that I said what I meant without being cruel, so here's what it said. I love you all. I will always love you all, but I will not sacrifice my future on the altar of your grief. Dustin is in prison because he made a terrible choice that cost my nephew his life. That's a tragedy, we know, but it's not my tragedy to bear alone. Julie and I are married now. We're building a life together. If you want to be a part of this life, you're welcome to, but only if you can accept that my marriage is not about Dustin, his absence, or your pain. I will not delay happiness waiting for someone who may never be able to participate in it. I will not apologize for choosing love over guilt. And if that makes me a bad brother, then okay. But I'd rather be a bad brother than a ghost in my own life. Julie cried when she read the final version. Said she was proud of me. I didn't feel proud. I felt empty, but also free. Like I've been holding my breath for 4 years and I finally got to exhale. I mean, yeah. The responses were swift. My father wrote back 2 sentences, "You've made your choice, don't expect us to have any celebrations." And Emily sent a novel-length text about family loyalty and how I'd regret this when I'm older. I didn't even finish reading it. My mom did not respond to the email, but she did call Dustin's prison and somehow got a message to him. Because 2 days later, I get a notification that my scheduled visit with him had been canceled. By him. He's never refused a visit before. Never. Julie says it's manipulation, that they're trying to make me crack and apologize and even beg for forgiveness. Maybe she's right, but it hurts still. Despite everything, Dustin is still my big brother. Part of me will always be the kid who looked up to him, but I can't live for that kid anymore. I have to live for the man I am now, the husband I am now, and we're taking things one day at a time. Julie's family has been incredible. They've basically adopted me, and Meg called yesterday just to check in. Says she's proud to have me as a brother-in-law. You know, it's this small thing in life, but I had to excuse myself from work to cry in my car after that phone call. I know this isn't over. I know there's more coming, but for now, we're just trying to be newly wedded. To be normal. To be happy without feeling guilty. Thank you again for the support. It helps more than you could ever know. Update number 2. This one was posted 3 weeks later. I wasn't really going to update again, but something happened that I need to process, and you've all been so helpful. Julie's at work, and I need to get this out before she gets home. Not because I'm hiding it from her, she knows everything, but because I need to sort through my own thoughts first. It started with Meg sending Julie a screenshot. Apparently, Angela's cousin runs a private Facebook group called Justice for Angela and Dustin. I didn't even know it existed. It's supposedly a support group, but from what I've seen, it's more like a hate forum, with us as the target. The post was about our wedding. Someone, I'm guessing Emily, told them that we eloped. The original post said, and I quote, "While Dustin and Angela rot in a jail cell, mourning their baby, his own brother cannot wait to have his perfect wedding. Shows you where his priorities lie. Blood means nothing to some people." And yeah, the comments were worse. Extended family I haven't seen in years calling Julie names. Cousins saying that I'd always been jealous of Dustin. And someone suggesting Julie had planned this all along to steal me away from my family. One comment hit different, though. It was from my Aunt Sarah, my mom's sister. She wrote, "I remember, at the funeral, Joseph could not even look at Dustin, and now we know why. He was already planning his escape from the family." Though that funeral, my nephew's funeral, the idea that I was planning my escape while burying a toddler, I actually threw up, made it to the bathroom just in time. The truth about that funeral, I couldn't look at Dustin because I was so angry I thought I might hit him. Because while everybody was comforting him and Angela, telling them it wasn't their fault, all I could think about was that little boy who trusted them to keep him safe. It is his fault. But I've never said it out loud, not to anyone except Julie. Because how do you tell a grieving father that you blame him for his child's death? How do you look at your brother and say this is your fault? So I stayed quiet, played the supportive brother role, and held my tongue through 4 years of watching my parents enable their denial. 4 years of accidents happen, and they've suffered enough. But, apparently, my silence was just me planning my escape. Julie found me staring at my phone when she got home. She read the post, and I watched her face go through about 10 different emotions, and then she very calmly took my phone, handed me her laptop, and said, "Write what you need to write." So I did. I logged into Facebook, which I barely use anymore, and wrote one post public, tagged no one, but I knew they would see it. I said, "We got married because we love each other. If you care more about appearances than accountability, we don't need to hear from you again. P.S. I was not planning my escape at the funeral. I was trying not to scream that life jackets exist for a reason." I know that last line was cruel. Julie asked if I was sure, but I posted it. The fallout was immediate. 23 people unfriended me within an hour. Most were extended family I haven't spoken to in years, and some were family friends who have chosen sides. One was Emily. My mother called, but I didn't answer, and she left a voicemail saying I've shown my true colors, and that she was done trying to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. Save me from what? From happiness? From a healthy marriage? From a life not defined by someone else's tragedy? So I blocked her number, then my father's, then Emily's. Julie made us dinner while I sat on the couch blocking numbers and removing people from my life with clinical efficiency. She didn't try to comfort me or tell me it would be okay. She just brought me a plate and sat beside me, our shoulders touching. "How does it feel?" she asked after I'd finished. I said empty, and it was true. But also, I feel clean, like I've been carrying around rot and finally just cut it off, and after that, we ate in silence. Then she said something that absolutely broke me. She said, "You know what I love about you? Even when you're angry, even when you're done with their crap, you still lead with love. We got married because we love each other, and that was the first thing you wrote. Not defense, not attack, just love." I cried into my pasta bowl like a bad movie scene, but she was right. Despite everything I did, this was for love for her, but also love for myself. The kind of love that says I deserve better than what I've actually been accepting. So, it's been a week since I've made the post, and the silence is so strong. It's strange. No guilt trip calls, no manipulation texting, no flying monkeys, just quiet. Julie and I went to Meg's for dinner last night, and her whole family was there. Yeah, they welcomed me like I'd always belonged, and her dad made a toast to the couple who knew what they wanted and went for it. No one mentioned Dustin or prison or family loyalty. We just were us. And on the drive home, Julie asked if I was okay, like really okay, not just managing emotions, and I think I will be. And for the first time, I actually believed it. We're planning a small reception for next month, just Julie's family and our friends, people who are happy for us without conditions or guilt. It won't be the wedding my family imagined, but it'll be ours, and that's all that matters now, us. Update 3. It's been a month since that. Guys, this is actually going to be my final update. I'm just gonna let it all out. I need to close this chapter, and something happened yesterday that feels like the ending I didn't know that I was waiting for. A month after cutting contact, I get a notification from the prison system. Dustin had been approved a visitation request. I had submitted one, and he was just reinstating the standing approval that I've had since he went in. I agonized over whether to go. Julie, as always, was perfect. She said, "Whatever you decide, I'll support you, but go for it. Go for you, not for them." So I went. The drive to the prison was the longest 3 hours of my life, and I practiced what I would say, imagined different scenarios, and prepared for anger or tears or even manipulation. What I wasn't prepared for was how old he looked. 4 years in prison has turned my golden brother into someone I barely recognize. Gray hair lines, lines on his face, wrinkles that weren't there from laughter, I promise that. He looked like our father, but a lot more worn down and tired. We sat across from each other at a metal table, and for a minute neither of us spoke. Then he said, "You got married?" Yeah. "Without me?" "Yeah." You chose her over us?" No, I chose peace." Something shifted in his face, like a mask slipping. For a second, I saw my brother, not the golden child, not the grieving father, not the prisoner, just Dustin. "Angela filed for divorce," says I. I'm the reason our son's not here," says she can't look at me without seeing him go under. I didn't know what to say. He just kept talking. "She's probably right. I replay it every night. Everyone tells me it was an accident, but I was his father. It was my job to keep him safe. One life jacket, that's all it would have taken." His voice cracked. I've never heard him take responsibility before. 4 years of tragic accident, and could have happened to anyone, and now finally the truth hit him. "She was the last one who still visited. Now it's just Mom and Dad, and they don't see me. They see who they need me to be, the victim, the martyred son, but I'm not. I'm just the a-hole who let his kid drown because he thought rules were for other people." Well, yeah. I reached across the table, stopped just short of touching his hand. "Prison rules." "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. Sorry for his loss, his guilt, his clarity that came too late. He said, "I'm sorry too, for everything, for expecting you to stop living and for letting them just, well," he gestured vaguely, but I knew what he meant. "You did the right thing getting out." We talked for the rest of the hour, not about family drama or my wedding or his divorce. We talked about the nephew we lost. Like, really talked about him for the first time. His laugh, his obsession with little tiny trucks, and how he called me Uncle Joe. We cried, both of us, right there in the sterile visiting room. And when time was up, Dustin stood first and he said, I won't approve any more visits, you know. Not because I'm angry at you, but because you need to go and live your life. And I need to figure out how to live with what I've done, without Mom and Dad telling me it's not my fault. So I asked him, what will you tell them? He just smiled and said the truth, that my little brother finally grew a spine and saved himself, that I'm proud of him for it. So I left the prison feeling untethered, like the last rope holding me to the shore had been cut free, but instead of drifting, I felt free to chart my own course. I told Julie every single thing on the drive home. She held my hand across the console and let me process out loud, and when I finished, she said, he gave you permission to let go, but you know you didn't need it, right? She was right. I didn't need his permission, but having it felt like a closing of a book that I've been reading the same page of for years. Well, that was yesterday. Today, Julie and I flew to the South Islands for our honeymoon. 2 weeks, just us, no phones, except for an emergency, of course, and we're staying in a tiny beach cottage where the biggest decision is coffee or tea. Yep. I'm writing this from my deck, watching Julie walk along the waterline. She's collecting seashells by the seashore. Her hair is wild in the wind and she looks happy. My family, my birth family, thinks that I chose her over them. They're wrong. I chose us over their dysfunction, and I chose health over sickness, and I chose love over guilt. Last night, lying in the bed of this cottage, Julie asked what I wanted from our future, and I said I wanted boring. I wanted boring, beautiful peacefulness. Peaceful boring. Sunday mornings that are not interrupted by crisis called, holidays that don't resolve around who's missing, the chance to just be. She kissed me and said, I can do boring. I'm pretty good at it. But here's the thing, it's not really boring, it's just quiet and calm. But there's nothing boring about waking up next to someone who saw you at your worst and loved you anyways. Nothing boring about building a life with someone who understands that sometimes the most radical thing you can do is be happy. I might hear from my parents again. Emily might reach out one day. The extended family might forgive and forget or move on to the new daily drama. Or they might not. And for the first time in my life, I genuinely don't give a hell. Because I'm here, on a beach, at the bottom of the world, married to my best friend. And we don't need their permission, we didn't need their presence, we didn't need a party, just each other. That's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. Well, I'm going to be honest here. I think OP made the exact perfect decision. And the reason I say that, yes, everybody wants everyone's family to get along, but what OP was going through was so ridiculous. They acted like he was the one who harmed the kid in the first place. He wasn't even on the boat. I need to know your opinion on today's story, guys. In my opinion, I think that it was a good move for OP to post that thing on Facebook and let the family know how he feels. Maybe he could have left out the last line about should have had a life jacket on, but you know, he was trying to get his point across, and it obviously worked because his brother ended up inviting him to the prison and forgiving him. I need to know your opinion in the comment section. Do you think that OP should have cut off the family or tried harder to work it out? Let me know in the comment section down below, guys. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I drop a story every single day, and I hope you enjoyed today's story. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.